We want to get this right, not just the right person, that's the first thing, but the right process.
You've said that you would like the confirmation vote to happen by April 9th. Why April 9th? And do you have confidence that you can get bipartisan support by that time?
Why am I picking April 9th? Because if I don't pick April 9th, I have to pick a date in the late weeks of April. And the longer you wait, the more likely things get complicated. I mean, things can happen. So if I have a singular focus, it's to get this done in an orderly, predictable way in a timely fashion.
You've had one committee member on the Republican side who has already said some inflammatory comments about Biden's choice to pick a black woman this time. This Judiciary Committee has historically had moments where they've had women or people of color in front of it, and there have been moments where that could be deemed insensitive or things come out that could be inflammatory. Is that something you're concerned about at all, and the optics of all of this?
I've been surprised because not all of the Republican senators by any means, but some of them seem particularly exercised by assertive women of color. It is almost like a dog whistle. And I'm not the only one who's raised this. Senator Leahy's raised this as well. I listen to them and wonder if they hear themselves, because it is fair to ask hard questions. These are important jobs. But to continue to have this high blood pressure and high emotion over assertive women of color, I don't quite understand it. I can't give you a good explanation for it. I hope it doesn't happen in the Supreme Court nomination process.
What are you doing now to work with some of the Republicans on the committee as well as, Republicans in the Senate?
When I heard the news from Ron Klain about Breyer's retirement, he asked me to wait a day. Well, it broke in maybe an hour after he'd spoken to me. I reached out to Chuck Grassley, the first phone call I made. He's the ranking Republican. Chuck has voted for Democratic nominees from the Biden administration. I'm not going to presume anything about his vote on this nominee, but I promised him several things that I've already said to him over and over. I'm not going to stab you in the back. I'm going to let you know what's coming. Where
do the swing votes come into all of this? Have you had conversations with Senator Manchin or Senator Sinema about where their support lies?
No, I haven't. I'll be honest with you, I have not. I've reached out. Of course, the committee's talked about it a lot, and neither of them are on my committee. And I reached out to Republican senators. The vice president, Kamala Harris, has been reaching out to some of the women in the Senate that she knew on the Republican side. So, as far as Manchin and Sinema, I haven't talked to them directly.
Is this an opportunity for the Senate to come together on something very significant and have a moment where they're agreeing on something? Do you find it as maybe a seminal moment in this term of the Senate?
Yes, and I'm hopeful. And I'm hopeful for two or three reasons. I've looked at least the short list that has been publicized of nominees. And of course, it would be the first African-American woman. But if you pay any attention whatsoever to these things, you realize that the success that they've had so far in their personal and professional lives really tells us a story about who they are. They are way above average. Secondly, we just have gone through a debate, which many people may not relate to this, but I relate to it, about changing the Senate rules. The argument on the other side was, no, the rules can work if you're bipartisan. And I think some of the Republicans took that to heart. I've seen more interest in actually legislating since that debate. Some of them are trying to prove the case that, in fact, the Senate can be functional, and this is one real test of it. And finally, I'm going to get inside Mitch McConnell's mind for a moment, if he doesn't mind, and say this may not be the issue he wants to take to the voters in November. He may think that this is more divisive and negative for their fate than positive. So perhaps it won't be as contentious as it might be.